So apparently a whole lot of people do not like Civilization 7. I didn't think it was going to be this badly received, but right now on Steam, it has a rating of 52%. Just barely half the people here saying the game is good. That's crazy. I did not expect those numbers. A lot of people are talking about the bugs. A lot of people are talking about, the obvious DLC that are going to come, the things that we're going to have to pay for in the future to get, some like civilizations that probably should have been there, like the British Empire, or leaders that probably should have been there, like Gandhi. That kind of went over my head. I mean, I knew Gandhi wasn't in the game when I had the review code, but I didn't really think about how weird it is until like time went by and I'm like, this is weird. Like Gandhi is the face of the franchise. I think it's fair to say, like he's the face. He'll obviously come out in DLC, but it is weird that he's not included in the base game. And I think I'm kind of talking about this because overall, what I think is going on here is when you consider the price for the Founders Edition to get in early for the early access, to get all this other stuff, to get the DLCs that are coming. It was like over $100, and I think that's really what people are mad about. It's interesting because when I reviewed the game, and when other reviewers, we had early access and we got to review the game before everyone else, something that is not kept in mind for me or the other reviewers, of course, is the price point. And at the end of the day, because I do it too, but it did slip my mind, it's like, how much did I pay for this game and did I get my money's worth? If you just ask me straight up what I think of Civ 7, well, I told you in my review, like I would give it an 8 out of 10. But if you put the context of me paying, $144 to get the game early, well then yeah, I would be pretty upset. It's actually a total of $130, so that is insane. Obviously, games are getting higher and higher in prices when it comes to $70, but still, if you ask me straight up right now, is Civ 7 worth it for $130? I would say, hell no, do not buy this game for $130. It's not there at this point, and that's the thing about strategy games, obviously, and I'm not talking about they get better over time. Obviously, that's what all the reviews are talking about. We all know this game is going to get better over time, just like every other strategy game. It's part of the problem is that when people get pulled into this genre of game, whether it's on PC or Switch or console or whatever it is, a lot of people pick these games up through a deal. So a lot of people have got thrown into the Civilization franchise because they got Civilization 6 for like $10, $15 with the Steam sale like years later. So with that context in the back of their head, they jump in, they pay, a lot of people right now are paying $130, and to get a product that is significantly worse than Civ 6, that helps with like the context of like, oh, that's why this is getting so, kind of review bombed in a way. It's not really getting review bombed. I mean, overall, there's more positives than negatives, just barely, but more positives than negatives. But when you put in context of the price, it's just absolutely insane. And I think we as reviewers do need to be considering that. I mean, that was something that I wasn't even really thinking about. Some people do. Some people obviously do say like, oh, wait till it comes out on sale. Wait till, a couple of years down the line when not only does it come out on sale, but there's also more content for it, more updates. It gets better and better. I did see some of the bugs, like I talked about earlier. People are mad about the price and mad that they're paying this much and there's this many bugs. I did see some of the bugs. I thought a lot of that stuff was going to get fixed. The biggest thing for me, which I'm kind of sad that I didn't put it in my review, is like the map generation is so bad. It's so bad. And they know it's bad. The developers know it's bad. But I partly thought a lot of the bugs and a lot of the jankiness would get fixed by day one because I had such an early copy. I got the game like a month before or something like that, before it was supposed to be officially released. So I'm like, I overlooked that stuff because in my head, it's like, well, they'll fix it, right? They're Firaxis, they're owned by 2K. But no. And that's, the 2K practices also piss people off. Like, it's very clear that 2K has their, like, grimy little fingers in a lot of the sales practices that we're seeing here. Keeping the British civilization out so that people could pay for it in DLC. The Founders Edition being $130. This huge roadmap of DLC that's going to get released so people over the course of the next year, so people continue to pay. I mean, that's clearly gotten 2K and their business practices written all over it, which is unfortunate because Firaxis can't control that. I mean, Firaxis is just going to have to do whatever, their overlords at 2K tell them. That's just how the gaming industry works now. But it's not good. It's sad it's happening. If the game was free, again, I got the game free. So if the game was free, it's like, okay, this is nice. But, or if I paid like $10 for it, okay, this is nice. Like everything I said in the review, do I think all that stuff's going to happen? Yeah, I do think every strategy game is going to be the worst form of that game the day it's released, especially in a version like this where this was an early access release. It's not even officially released yet. So this is the worst version of the game that you will play. But I think people are rightfully pissed because if I paid $130 for it and the map generation was messed up, I didn't get some standard civs and leaders that I really wanted. I mean, I'm not even on board with, again, the era changes. And it's very interesting to me. Obviously, there are certain Civ videos that are getting good views, but for me, uploading this content on my gaming channel, it's not been doing good. I got one more video to release. Maybe by the time you're watching this, I released my third Civ 7 video. But for me, I feel like, dang, these views are not as good as I thought they were going to be. I don't really remember too much about Civ 6's release. I remember being disappointed with my audience's reception, like in terms of views. Like people weren't as interested as I thought. Like the first video did banger numbers, and then every video after that, it just got worse and worse and worse. And then I remember back in 2016, like my Civ 5 videos were doing way better than Civ 6, and they continue to do way better than Civ 6 for a long, long time. That's the thing to make content in these games, Paradox included, is you got to stick with it. You really got to, that's what Potato was able to do. Potato McWhiskey, like he stuck with Civ 6 and he continued to make content, and the game gradually got better and more people fell into the game, and he was able to grow his audience that way. I was not patient enough for Civ 6. I was very big into it. Like I was into Civ 6, making a lot of Civ 6 content, like probably the first 2-3 years, but I for sure remember by 2020, I was done. I was done with it. I was like, yeah, I'm not continuing to wait. I'm not that patient with it because the views still weren't that amazing. I'm still getting thousands of views on my on some of my old Civ 6 videos that I made like in 2019, but I was not going to stick around and continue to wait for the game to get good. And you just have to be patient, but it's like, man, I'm a little shocked. My first video did good. Second video, not so good. I don't think the third, I have no hope that my third Civ 7 video is going to be that much of a bang. And it's really sad because for me, what I always wanted to do in the Civilization franchise is to be able to do what I'm making over there on my Drew Wu channel. Is I'm finally able on the spot. The game is at the area, and I am at the spot where I am as a creator, where I can put an entire campaign cut down, edited into like a highly edited, like 1 hour video. I always thought that would be the next format. It would have to be the next format for the Civilization franchise. Obviously, people have done it here and there, but I really thought that it was going to take off here in Civ 7 because I'm able to like consolidate 12 hours into 1 hour and show an entire playthrough in one hour, in a 1 hour video. And I was really proud of that fact. And I thought people were going to be more interested in it, and clearly that's not actually been the case. Again, we'll have to wait and see. It's a little early to tell, but I'm proud that I was able to finally do that because that was something that I always wanted when I was on YouTube watching Civ 5 content back in like 2011 or 2012. Like it was Let's Play format, and that was fun. That was interesting. But man, if you gave me highly edited, which it wasn't worth it back in 2012, but if you gave me highly edited Civ campaigns that lasted like 13 hours, all into like a condensedly packaged 1 hour piece, it's like, dang, that's what I've dreamt of. But that's not the case right now, and obviously the game needs to get better and more people need to get into it, and it's going to take years and years before that even happens. And it's weird that I'm getting into this discussion because I was watching a lot of Project Zomboid videos maybe about a year ago. That's a whole nother video game that's been around for so long. I can't believe Project Zomboid is still going, still being developed. It's such a fascinating game. I don't play it, but I like to watch content about it. And I love watching YouTube videos about Project Zomboid and the challenges that they're doing. And it's like highly edited 1 hour pieces, where it's obviously taking these creators hours and hours and hours to do this stuff. And I'm like, oh man, I'd love to do this in a Civ game. And it's like, oh, I'm going to wait until Civ 7 comes out and I'm going to start experimenting with that. And yeah, so far that has not actually been highly received as much as I thought it was going to be. But I thought that content was going to be kind of cool. Anyways, it's going to take years. They're going to have to do, I mean, again, the era changing system, I don't like it. And that's going to take some things to get around. I do think at its base, still a fun game. I actually am pleasantly surprised at all, all the good things I said about Civ 7 at the end of my review. I'm still pleasantly surprised with the game. I'm still having fun with the game. Like, it's like, oh, this is cool. I don't think I'm going to make much more content about it. Maybe if it gets a couple updates. Another thing I hate is there's no mods yet. They really need mod support. You got to launch mod support, man. You got to have mod support nowadays. And of course, they didn't in Civ 6 either. But that workshop, because the thing is, Firaxis is not going to be able to pump out bugs as fast. They're not going to be able to squash bugs as fast as we're going to want. They're not going to be able to bring out updates as fast as the entire audience is going to want. If they just launch with the Steam Workshop or some sort of easy, way to install mods, it's like that changes everything because the modders can fix a lot of, the BS. I bet you there are bugs that accidentally stick to the game for like months. For like months and months and months. And it's like, if you open it up to Workshop, there'd be a dude in his basement that fixes it day one. And then boom, the entire community can benefit from that. I'm sure this, part of the problem is because they're releasing on so many different platforms all at once, which is amazing. I think that's really cool they're doing it, but it really hurts the PC gaming. And a lot of the times, I mean, Civ is synonymous with PC gaming. So people want mods. They'll eventually give us mods. But that really, I think, could have saved a lot of these bad reviews if you did give people mods. Because then you'd get a lot more forgiving. It's like, yeah, there's this bug, but I downloaded, some like funny-ass title, like Butt Muncher's UI fix. And then bam, that makes me completely forget that that's a problem in the base game. Like, that's how good mods are, is you forget some of the fundamental issues because a mod fixes it so easily, and then you're like, oh, that's right, I forgot this is part of the base game. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have given it as positive of a review. But anyways, what are your thoughts down below? The community obviously has very strong thoughts. It's day one Civ, though. At the end of the day, it's like, I should have expected this. People are going to complain on the internet, and a lot of that is just people complaining on the internet. I think some of the negative reviews are unwarranted. I think some of the comments below this video are going to be a little bit unwarranted, but at the same time, a lot of it is warranted, and a lot, Firaxis does deserve a little bit of the pounding it's taking from the community.